I'd like to propose a toast to you for all the action you are going to take after this video. Cheers. Let's get into today. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mindset Matters, the podcast where we live with purpose and grow with intention. My name is Victoria, your host, and today is all about taking action. So I really, truly believe that every single thing comes down to action. So this episode is for you if you enjoy watching self-help type content, you like collecting ideas about how to improve your life, and you are excited about the idea of becoming your best self, yet somehow you feel like you're still stuck. You're still stuck where you are. You're not making progress despite doing things like listening to podcasts and collecting these ideas and reading self-help books. Somehow you're still feeling stuck. So if any of that resonates with you, then this episode's for you. And I do want to preface some kind of podcast rules with you today. I'm putting those in air quotes. But here's my proposed rules for you today. I really invite you to be present with me today. I invite you to take the time out of your day to really listen to what I have to offer you today, and I hope that it will be relevant and engaging for you. And the reason I wanted to mention this is because as a podcast that I post on YouTube, people can watch it or listen. And obviously on YouTube, we see a lot of very well edited videos these days with, fancy layovers and B-roll and zooming in and out and text on the screen. And I think that those things can hold our attention span and make videos more engaging sometimes. And obviously as a podcast, I don't do those things. And recently I've actually been really preferring this type of content where I'm really engaged and listening to the person. And I find like too much stimulation otherwise actually ends up distracting me. So no matter where you are in your attention span journey, I know that it can be a challenge to keep our attention these days. Anyway, so I'm going to stop rambling so it's not boring. But I just want to invite you to be present. I invite you to be here with me, and I invite you to just, whatever you're doing, really sink into this time for yourself to learn, to grow, and to learn how to take action, because that's what we're here to do. So upon wanting to talk about this, I was doing a little bit of YouTube searching of my own, and I found this really good TEDx talk, which I'll link below. It's called The Science of Taking Action by Steve Garguilo. Garguilo. Oh my God, I'm butchering it and I can't see my laptop. Garguilo, I think. I'm sorry, Steve. I really just messed up your name. But his TEDx talk was The Science of Taking Action. And he essentially said, well, he did say, this is a quote from him: "People seem to be more interested with collecting ideas than actually doing anything with them." And wow, I related to this so hard. People seem to be more interested with collecting ideas than actually doing anything with them. Think about any time you've gotten excited about something, and so you started brainstorming. Maybe you brainstormed what that idea could look like, or different things that would be really cool, quote unquote. You coulda, shoulda, woulda, and how many of those times did you actually follow through or start taking some action? So he did some research and he found three key things, which I'm going to kind of share with you and also add my own thoughts and kind of expand on these ideas. But the first thing he mentioned in the TEDx talk was that action is a muscle, right? Think about anything that takes practice, right? Practice makes progress. The first time you do something, whether it's the first time you play a new sport, the first time you play a new instrument. It's really challenging. But as you do it more, it becomes easier. Action is like that. So the more you learn to take action, the easier taking action becomes. And this is something I totally saw in my own life. I know I've talked about this before, but last year was a big action-oriented year for me. I said yes to doing a charity boxing match, which made me say yes to making content around that and really promoting it and trying to raise money for cancer research. And I won't get into so much detail because I have talked about it before, but that one thing really catapulted me into learning to take more action in my life. And then I started my podcast. And then from there, I started gathering ideas for my business and taking action towards what I really want to be doing with my life, right? And how I want to help others in my life. So from there, I took action towards creating my coaching business. And I think that everything has just snowballed. The more action I took, the more I realized that I could do it and the easier it became. So it's important to just start. And once you start, you're going to see how it gets easier. Another thing that Steve found in his research was that when you have a passion, we tend to want to put aside time later. We always kind of say, once things calm down, I'll get to this thing. Or once I have a little more time, I want to do this. Or someday in the future, this is something I'll prioritize. And again, it's something that you can say as much as you want. You can talk the talk, but if you're not going to walk the walk, the talk loses its meaning. And there's never a perfect time. I'll tell you that right now. There is never a perfect time to start something, but when you start, things will start to align for you. And this is something I totally wholeheartedly believe. If you know what you want, you have a passion for something, you want to make space for something, as soon as you start showing up and actually making space for that thing, I swear the universe starts to respond, because again, what you put out gets reflected back to you. So if you're putting out action that shows that you're serious about your goal, you're not just talking about it, but you're willing to walk the walk, the universe will reflect that back to you and things start to align. I'm going to talk about something that I'm doing. I am actually moving across the country, potentially temporarily, potentially long-term. I don't know yet. But when I first decided I wanted to do this, I booked a flight. I had no idea where I was going to live yet. I had no idea what I was going to do for work yet, but I knew I wanted to make this happen. So the act of booking a flight, that me taking action and booking a flight, told the universe, okay, Vic is serious about doing this. She's not just talking about it, she's doing it. She booked the flight. And so that catapulted me into the action of, well, now that I'm going to fly there, I need somewhere to stay when I show up. So I better leap into action and start looking for an apartment, right? So it's like the act of doing something, one, it shows the universe you're serious, and I think that helps things align for you, but it also tells yourself you're serious, that you're done just talking about it. I could sit here forever and talk about, oh, I'd love to see this place. I'd love to go here. I'd love to visit. One day I'll visit. One day I'll visit. Well, I said there's no time like the present. Let's book a flight. Sometimes you need to just dive in and do something for the rest of it to unfold. And I know that that's not always easy, but you got to take the first step. And I'm inviting you now to take that first step. One more thing I want to say about this, of when we have a passion, we want to set aside time later, right? One day I'll go visit this place. One day I'll move somewhere new. One day I'll try this thing. And I think us putting that one day in our mind, well, the reason that one day is not today is because we're scared. We're afraid that taking action means we're serious. Because just when we're talking about it, we're still in our comfort zone, right? When you're just talking about something, there's no risk in that. But as soon as we start taking action and start doing the thing, like now it's serious and it's risky, because what if I fail? What if I am not good at this thing? What if I go all the way there and I don't like it? What if this isn't the right choice, right? And all these what ifs, these fears kind of take over and stop us from taking action. And the thing with the fear, the thing with the anxiety, maybe the low confidence, the analysis paralysis, right? Where we feel like we can't do anything unless it's perfect in our head. Newsflash, it'll never be perfect. Even if you get to a point where you're perfect in your head, it's never going to turn out that way anyways. And really what it comes down to, as long as you're thinking about it, you're allowing that fear to take over. Because when you're truly in action and you're truly taking steps forward and you're truly in the moment doing things, there is no fear. You're just in the moment, right? Even me booking a flight, again, I thought about it. I looked at my options. I told myself, or I asked myself, is this something I really want to do? And one of my fears was, well, what if I don't find the right apartment for me? What if there's nothing available? And if that's what I'm thinking, that nothing is available, that I'm not going to find the right thing, that I'm not going to be able to follow through, well, then I'm doomed, because I'm letting my fears take over. So me booking that flight was, again, me taking a step forward and saying, I trust that this is going to work out. I trust that I'll find an apartment. I trust that what's meant to be will find me. So it does take a little bit of trust, a little bit of faith, but also trust in yourself that you can handle the situations that come your way, right? Because again, it's not going to be perfect. Yes, did I find an apartment? I did. Am I very excited? I am. Am I putting some stuff in storage and getting ready to move? Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree, Bob. And guess what? It's all been great so far, and things are aligning, and there's been so many little signs, synchronicities from the universe, if you will, that are leading me to this place. And yet, guess what? If I go there, what's going to happen if I don't like it? I could always come back. What if I go there and it's not what I expect? I could always come back. But me not going isn't going to show me that, right? So I think with this is the big mindset piece, is like, it's not about making the right decision. It's about making the decision right. That is not a quote by me, but someone told me that recently. It's not about making the right decision, but about making the decision right. I could go to this place and I could decide that it's not for me. And guess what? I will be okay, because that will have been a great experience, and I can always come back. I can always go somewhere else. Like, don't let fear stop you. And taking action is the only way you can actually move forward. Now, going back to the TEDx talk, one other thing that Steve found in his research of taking action is that it's actually easier to generate actions for other people's ideas. So we tend to get stuck in our own ideas. Maybe it's, again, fear-based. Maybe it's because we kind of stop ourselves from fully dreaming the dream. But think about the last time maybe someone told you a dream that they had, or something that they wanted to do, and you felt really excited for them. You're like, oh, you could do this, or this might work, or what if you tried this? And you get excited for them, right? So let's flip that and say, well, if it's harder for you to come up with ideas for yourself, then get feedback. Include the people in your life. This is something that I've, again, been doing on this active journey of like, should I move somewhere new? Should I try a new place? And everyone in my life has been super encouraging and super awesome and weighing things with me, kind of pros, cons, options. And that has helped me take action because, one, I'm getting encouragement. So again, it's important to be mindful of who you share things with, right? Share things with the people who are going to encourage you and be there for you and help you take action. And the second part of that is the support helps me brainstorm better ideas for myself, right? Because some things I wouldn't have thought of, or me thinking like things have to be done one certain way if you get stuck in the planning stages of things. And then you have a friend who says, oh, well, what about this? And you think, that actually might work. And so again, that helps you take action. So including people in your life who are supportive, I think is a great way to generate ideas for those actions. But again, you have to actually follow through. So those are the main points from the TED Talk. And I think one last thing that I want to kind of reiterate or touch on about action is that when you have the mindset that every experience is something you can learn from, then you can't really go wrong with taking action. If you truly believe in what you're doing and you truly believe that you're trusting your intuition, you're trying something new, you're saying, yes, I'm going to go for this thing, then even if it doesn't work out the way you want it, even if you don't love it, even if the experience isn't what you thought, you can learn from it. And guess what? You grew as a person because you experienced something new. Would you rather never try anything new, never take action towards your goals, just keep thinking about them the rest of your life until that's it? Your life's done? Like for me, learning to take action has made me grow so much as a person, even in just trusting myself and trusting that I can handle different situations, trusting that I can move across the country where I don't have a lot of friends and I'm kind of starting over, and trust that it'll be okay. And know that it's an experience that I get to have. When we stop ourselves due to fear, fear only exists if you allow it to, right? It's like you can't be embarrassed unless you actually feel it. Someone else could be embarrassed by something you did, but that doesn't affect you unless you let it. So even if something doesn't work out the way you wanted it to, it's literally not a failure unless you choose to see it that way. I could go to this new place and I could decide very quickly that it's not for me. Will it have been a failure? No. First of all, I don't think that's going to happen, but there's always the chance that I'm not going to like it or it's not going to work out the way I hoped. But okay, I'm flexible. I'll figure it out. It's a learning experience. That's what life is. Life is meant to be experienced. Life is meant to be lived. So learn to take action, and action can start from just the smallest steps. You don't have to change your whole life in a day. You don't have to go 0 to 100. Just take action. Just take one step a day to get you closer to that goal, whatever the goal is. If the goal is getting in shape, if the goal is starting your own business, if the goal is starting a podcast, whatever that goal is, just take little steps. Whether the goal is to be more organized and declutter your home, okay, clean a little corner of your room every day. And eventually you're going to notice, hey, my home is looking really good. I cleared out so much stuff. Hey, I noticed that I'm getting stronger because I've been going to the gym consistently. Everything is about action. You can think and think and think and dream and dream and dream and collect all the ideas, watch all the videos you want, but until you actually put it into action and do something about your life, you're not going to get anywhere. So I invite you to click the link below, check out my website. I have been building my coaching program around helping young adults find their purpose and build mindful routines, step into their purpose so that they can live balanced but purpose-driven lives. It's that feeling of waking up, making your coffee, and feeling excited about that day ahead, feeling like you've got purpose in your life, and yet feeling like you also have achieved this balance of mindful routines that help you feel grounded and present and grateful, but you also have a sense of purpose, like you're working towards something that excites you. So if that resonates and it's something you're looking for in your life and you're wondering if coaching is something that might be beneficial to you, then I invite you to click the link below, check out my website, also subscribe to my Mindset Mondays email list. Every so often, I send out a Monday morning email just helping you get started for the day and the week ahead. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I challenge you to do one thing, one step of action today, and I will see you all very soon.